Tequila sunset. Can't really remember seeing any women after losing my keys.
He really has no idea who this ruby is, sire.
The legend! He's back. And firstly, I got smokes and piss and a little speed to spice things up.
Don't call. Don't call her.
There's no waking him from his stupor. His mind is elsewhere.
I'll just keep the Cordon Bleu in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier. Hi, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Oh, jetty, oh, jetty. It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the cordelate she read. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White. How do I like it?
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there? I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, Madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
She could easily just... Have I told you how they discovered this place? No, they're in Celindian, Isola. I'm guessing you don't know then. Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty. I knew you would sympathize. Most Revacholians will never know what this place means. Our home. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
Do we?
I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not... Maybe there is something else I can assist you with, while you're hot in pursuit? Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. Just dead and dying locusts, and the slow swaying of surrounding reeds. Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there, in the whirling in rags.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from the distance and the air, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible. A glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman's shape move behind the glass, her limbs long and slender.
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Joanne? Cigarette butts are everywhere. This is a common brand for all men.
Tumutiri was a Revacholian colony on Ilmaran. The Suzerainty's population was mostly Ilmaran Areopagites, up to 97%. The region was known for its tobacco export, hence the name. Oh, you do? The butts you saw had a silhouette of a boy wearing a coffee hat, a tobacco picker. This boy is the Tumutiri brand logo. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Juan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, a legendary cigarette from Grad. Tumutiri is favored by older men who like its old-fashioned paper filter tips, insane amount of tar, and the sweet smells of colonialism and halva.
It's not possible to climb that ladder, and even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
It does look extremely rickety, and wouldn't help much either.
To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps, but anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fires this time of year. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2-kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out Biddable Prime, was it?
The light vanishes inside the concrete slit. The structure goes deep under the earth.
No idea. Could be connected to one of the buildings around here. We might find her down somewhere. There's an old storm drain system beneath Martinez that's mostly collapsed. Revachel's sewage system has been built and rebuilt 4 or 5 times now. In conclusion, she could be under any building. I hope not.
Maybe it's just a storm drain for the sewer. There's no echo and no answer.
Hello again. No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone. A few locusts A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash, but if you look closer...
That, over there. Must be the boy Klaas you told us about. The one she hid her passport in. We should take a look.
Ooh, hidden things, secrets, lies. You lift the boy out of the water without much effort. It's not tied to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom appear to have been cut. The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it close, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked.
Simple construction. Very unsafe.
There's something in there, splashing around. It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. Salt, industrial slop and decay. A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out, some algae, and nothing else.
Well, damn. I have no idea. Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope. That may very well be the case. We should keep an eye on her. Nothing more for us to do here. Let's go.
You could ask the miss what she thinks later if you have the time, though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
The dome-shaped plastic boy bobs.
We still got here too late. There's nothing of use here anymore.
The trap is filled with dead and dying locusts. Most of them aren't moving anymore. You still can't see. There's no way the perp is in here, officer. Look how scarred the boards are. All attempts to pry them off have failed. Not this time. The opposition is insurmountable, but I like the spirit. Have some points. It's lonely and cold without points.
The suspect? God, I hope not. I can't see a way in, though many have tried.
You see, a slogan used to intertwine with the loops above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Felled electrical. How ironic, all these dark rooms. Felled Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there. Or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building? Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb. Trying to talk to the wind, the city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village. Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the windswept urban coast. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold. Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it. In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
She's down there.
Okay, why? Right. How do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
There has to be a way to use brute force. Climbing sounds unsafe. Brute force is safe. Look around and find something to break if the ladder fails. An old pipe peeks out from beneath the rotten boards of the boardwalk. Could this be an alternative path into the felled building? A building like this must have multiple doors serving various functions, perhaps a basement access. Your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the darkness inside the drainage pipe. The lieutenant looks over your shoulder. A thin layer of snow gleams inside the pipe. As your eyes adjust, you see some trash. Crumpled up newspapers, cigarette butts. Someone has half-heartedly spray-painted skulls on the right side. And nothing. Broken glass from bottles thrown against the walls of the pipe. A syringe.
Given that this isn't a martial arts thriller, it's highly unlikely, and not without risk to our health either. However, the pipe suggests there may be an entrance to the basement around. And it's right here, a maintenance door.
Oh yeah, big boy time. This needs you to put your back into it. Behind the pipe. Behind the pipe, the maintenance. A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of them.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180? Not to mention that the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to do something more subtle? What if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
Teleportation is not a thing. Oh yes, it could hurt a lot.
The rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is... Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle! It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components. Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system. The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know. The why is easy, because they hadn't come up with modern silicon-based systems yet. For vitreous cast filament memories, though, these seem incredibly advanced. mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. A plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait. Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man. Two rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
The doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the two metal panels slide open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that. Yes, time to investigate these passages. Let's move quietly and not make more sound.
Not running is a great way to do that. The trap is full of locusts. This coin-operated viewer is facing south.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Again? I can't believe this shit.
Yes? What is it?
Two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman having sex. A ray of backward motion explodes from his 700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account. 1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window.
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation. Oh.
Did you take the documents?
No, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway. My employer gave them to me. In truth, I should have destroyed them.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
They couldn't know where I put it. I'm absolutely sure I was not followed. And I've told no one but you. You mentioned seawater? I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
Yes, what is it? What? No, no one's suspicious around here.
She has not seen her, sire. 'Tis true. The mother of humanism stands. There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
No, what do you mean? I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh. Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully. Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
Yes. There won't be time for that once things go down. Matter of fact, I don't think there's time for it now, but... Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word, officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways. No, buddy, that's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience, way worse than all the previous ones. Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
Really now? Check this out.
You're overwhelmed with a new surge of violent static. It feels like a blood vessel exploded in your brain.
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here. I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
The pale? It's the end of the world. I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond. No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. It may take a few minutes for you to steady yourself, though. It's a bit like waking out of a very confusing dream. Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not cops, and of herself merely as prey.
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
You're looking for a deal with my mattress. Dentist.
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She's carrying a 2-barreled front loader. Remain careful. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe. Be careful when you make your move. That'll be it for questions. Bide your time.
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while. So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised. So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back. This could have turned out pretty bad for me if you hadn't walked right into 25 bands of ultra-high frequencies.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but not like this. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? My boys? Well, fuck. Those guys liked me, I know it. If this is what happens to people whom people like...
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck do the rest of you get by? Like what? I already told you I didn't do it.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on. I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too. No, I did not. Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival. Yes, I'm sure. In fact, the shot couldn't have possibly come from the roof. Otherwise, we would have heard it downstairs.
No one mentioned hearing any shot. And a rifle like the one used would have been loud. She's right. I don't think the shot came from the roof.
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me. Yeah, and I'm sure they also made some funny remarks about it. They always do. I've driven a lot of long haul and chugged a lot of beer, man. Can't do either without some power of mind over bladder. And anyway, that wouldn't have been enough time. Wow, now I'm curious. Please, explain. Don't know it, but also...
Evaluating your competence as a police officer.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
That didn't go super well. You've got to lay something better on her.
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types. Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here. Plenty of broken people who don't come with that kind of body count. Besides, they're paid well for what they do. I'm listening. And? The gun store. Trigger Happy Jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
A Nachtway 80 front loader. 2 barrels. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing. Yeah, evidence. Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claus's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasia comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea. Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy Boys.
She lied to you about that, too.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried the lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop.
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Everyone in Jamrock, the cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Right. Sure. You don't know. I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You know what I did. I fucked him over. And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either. One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are, literally.
Well, this has been a great talk, really. But I think I'm going to hit the road now.
She means it. You better make your move soon.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first vagabond to...
You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw. Very, very bad. This is the end bad. All you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all do. It gets so dark. You don't even see her face. Cop suffers final heart attack. A detective lieutenant of the RCM passed away yesterday. His death, though abrupt, did not come as a surprise to those who knew him. He was the heaviest drinker I'd ever met. Captain Ptolemy Price, the deceased superior officer, commented. That ain't easy on the ticker. He loved his liquor, sure, said Detective Chester McLean, friend and colleague. But I think before he ever had a heart attack, his heart was broken. According to an official statement given by the RCM, the officer was on the brink of solving a murder case. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister...
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted.
Yes. Looks like some latter-day radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago. Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted. We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff. I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case. You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary? This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of. Outside the window, another day. The beach sand soaks up the drizzling rain, growing darker and darker.
It's a great place to hide. And Mazovianism and murder are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages. Indeed, no one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough. In fact, I think we're done with this bunker. After you, officer.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it... Can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not...
As she says the word, officer, that's an awful decision. Why would you not want to shield yourself from it? It's an entirely new type of experience. Way worse than all the Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field. A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale... Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone...
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them. At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
The pale? It's the end of the world. I built it myself.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Way beyond. No. Once I shut down the compressor, the pain will end. Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not the cops. And of...
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
Damn this.
God damn it. Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She's carrying a 2-barrel front loader. Remain well. It doesn't feel much better, but you can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe.
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first. Oh, I knew the kitten had claws, but she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me? My boys? Well, fuck. Those guys liked me, I know it.
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck did the rest of you get by? Like what? I already told you I didn't do it.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make...
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particular. Plenty of broken people. Yeah, sure. And I'm listening. Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that. Yeah, and I'm sure they also made some funny remarks about it. They always do. I've driven a lot of long haul. Can't do either without some power of mind over bladder. And anyway, that wouldn't have been enough. Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain. Don't know it, but also...
Evaluating your competence as a police officer.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof. or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one met...
That didn't go super well. You've got to lay something better on her.
And? The gun store. Trigger Happy Jacks. What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal. Sure don't.
A breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
A Nachtway 80 front loader. Two-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing. Yeah, evidence. Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Claudia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna. The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia. It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival. Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar. No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style. So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on. I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die. No, I did not. Yeah? Where?
More questions before doing anything.
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late.
For this radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claus's room. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him...
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sense.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then she sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her. No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
She looks shaken. She wasn't surprised to be ratted out, but framed.
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone. She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy boys. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed. As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried this lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me. I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop.
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Everyone in Jamrock, the cops, the criminals, why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Right, sure, you don't know. Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe you.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough. You know what I did. I fucked him over. And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway? Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had 2 guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either. One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are, literally.
Well, this has been a great talk, really. But I think I'm going to hit the road now.
She means it. You better make your move soon.
What bunker? Don't know anything about it. No one's been around since I set up camp. But I'm sure I'm not the first back.
Keep calm. Breathe in. After the pain recedes, it's a little clearer. Did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it. problem solving.
Ma'am, put the gun down. That's not the solution to your problems. You are...
Oh, yes it is.
You should know the words to say. You've been here yourself, so why is it not coming to you? Because you've misread the situation from the beginning, and now her finger squeezes the trigger. A smirk crosses her face as she watches you stand there, mute. Then she exhales sharply, shakes her head, and pulls the trigger. You watch as her brains trickle out through her neon hair.
Lieutenant Yefreitor Dubois, control your emotions. We did our job. This won't be the worst thing that happens on this case, believe me. You can't let this break you.
There is no coming back from this one. It will stay with you in nightmares.
We clean up. It may take days for processing to pick up her body. We need to move it somewhere. That tent there.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionately. It was pitched by practiced hands. She was used to camping out. You see a rolled-up sleeping bag and personal belongings.
We should put her in the sleeping bag, so the rats don't get to her.
The lieutenant nods. There she lies, cocooned in the sleeping bag, surrounded by empty cigarette packs, books, and half-read magazines. Magazines? You should look through them. Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine, it's a leather notebook. You pocket the worn brown leather journal.
We should read this immediately, like right now.
The plain red tent rests. thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket. It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name, Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. She had good taste and must have taken what she recorded here seriously. The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled. The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins. It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
We could learn a lot from this.
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Professionalism is his coping mechanism. Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape. Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them. The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable. Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely. She is referring to betraying a previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense? That name isn't mentioned as far as you can tell. Small wonder. Would you talk about La Puta Madre in your journal? You do see an M, though. La Puta Madre. M is mentioned on March 9th and March 15th. Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head. While I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call? The call? Did M call her personally? Why? Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all. But I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people, the boys, for example. But experience tells me. Did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures, first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly. The thick journal, bound in brown leather, is full of... The most recent entry is from today. It reads, "Even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning."
I don't think she killed the mercenary. It looks like she might have been framed.
Don't get emotional.
By the Hardy Boys? By Classier? By us? No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure. The head of a major Jamrock gang, specializing in drug production and trafficking. A very bad person.
He's not 100% sure you're not indebted to this very, very bad person.
Could have been Titus. Then again... Maybe there's a Hardy boy we've yet to meet, who acted as his accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on him. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling and rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
Stop. Now. It is time. Crisis. Death. You can feel it in your blue soul. Be prepared. Make sure you have your pepper box in your hand. Your fingers reflexively reach for the Villiers 9mm pistol in your pocket.
Then you'd better get ready. Whatever happens, I've got your back.
I'm all out of shits to give, loincloth. Welcome to the fucking reckoning. Put your damn gun down. People are gonna get hurt. We need to talk this through. All right, shut up. You're not gonna talk yourself out of this, loincloth shit fuck.
This is the mercenary at the gates. His chest rises and falls under the ceramic breastplate. His fingers reach for the butt of his sidearm.
Shh.
This is a misunderstanding. Nothing irreversible has happened yet. You can just return to your unit and forget all about this.
The Kipt is merciful, willing to spare us if we just forget about our murdered and humiliated commander. I think we should just kill everyone, Corty.
You are all drunk. Come to your senses. You won't gun down 7 people in the middle of the street. This isn't a frontier town or a jungle outpost.
Easy, Lizzie. Let me handle it. I know guys like this. I'm sure we can come to a peaceful agreement. Ain't that right, fellas?
Peaceful.
Nest in your abdominal cavity like a little wild mouse. The masked man's words are barely intelligible, but you can hear them.
Fuck, there's the third one. How did we miss something like this?
This third one, he is the most dangerous of them all, heavily armed.
If this turns into a firefight, we should take him out first.
A sound strategy. He's the leader.
My plan is not to get killed, but we have to intervene. The Mercenary Tribunal.
Get lost, comedian. You cops had your chance. Now it's fucking time for some justice.
Pig fuck!
Oh, people are gonna die today. We're not leaving it like this. These tribals hung him up for everyone to see.
No one is going to kill anyone. Let's just put the guns down and talk like civilized human beings.
With a wordless gurgle, the killer loads his long rifle. The leader gives a small nod to the helmeted man. Suddenly, the grip of your sidearm feels comforting and warm in your hand. Feels like it's saying, do it. Shoot him in the mouth. Shoot him before he shoots you. No, wait. It's good you have that gun. It really is. Just soften him up first. Present an argument. I'm barely keeping you together here. This is it, the big one. If you talk to him, he will rattle you, not the other way around.
Rude. Rude is the killer. Rude, the killer, Owen Cloven. He doesn't talk much.
All of you cunts inside out.
The gunner, the raddest, the killer. What do you think he does? Smart loincloth. He fucks natives up. Soldier of the apocalypse style. Yeah? Who did then? Yeah? The fuck is Ruby?
His fingers are twitching. That's a draw reflex. He's about to draw.
A suspect. Ruby is a suspect we chased down on the coast. She was hiding.
You think you're funny? What if I just shot one of your pals here, right now? How about the kid? That'd be fucking funny.
Listen, please. This cop and this drumhead cop marshal won't decide who...
The Hardy Boys confessed to hanging him, all together. Titus said, we took him out back and hanged him. He said it loud, in a public place.
You're lying. DePaul heard it.
A Kiel Model 40 revolver, 8 rounds in the barrel. The gun slowly sways in his hand from the inebriation.
You heard wrong. She and these men have been helping us find the shooter.
Fucking liars.
The shot rings in your ears, a low, tinny ring. Then the Hardy Boys yell something. The young woman stands and looks behind her. The shot has flown over her head, crashing a small pane of the glass window behind her.
I missed.
Not true. He purposefully over-aimed and shot the window. You had him second-guessing himself, only for a second. Do not assume he will miss the next time.
I know what I heard, Corty. They said they killed him. They said it was a good way to end a Sunday night.
That doesn't sound good. You need to change the topic now, or there will be another shot. What topic? Shots have been fired. Act before it's too late. This was a close call. All right, here we go. This is an illegal tribunal. Cranell would never sanction this. Who's the commanding officer? Take your pick. I have some trivia, too. Get him interested in facts. You only have time for one argument. Choose wisely.
What always happens when you get good at your job? That name meant night raids. Fucking extrajudicial funky time, burned villages. Shit that sounds bad on the radio. The same thing happened when we were called whatever the fuck it was. Probably won't be called Cranell for much longer, either. Not after this shit.
Okay, it's not much. But he's thinking about something else, and his hand is off the gun. This did something.
Yes. So what? Nah, I'm clear as day. Fucking government-ordained super soldier.
Enough already! What is this? We didn't come here to fucking chat!
Interrupt me again and I will execute you on the spot, Lance Corporal. You think I care what that company cunt thinks?
The man stares at you with bloodshot eyes, a bull ready to charge. Now is not a good time to strike. He's looking right at your hands. Do something else. Get him distracted.
Fucking waste this fuck!
Who the fuck is that?
Glacier, the woman upstairs. Where is she?
She left!
Unarmed, hunched, but keeping it together.
She left! Her room's cleaned out! Right before these assholes showed up!
We should have arrested her.
Hey, Bushman! Your little cunt isn't gonna help you out of this one!
Of course, nothing bad will happen. Talk about his dead friend. He seems stable enough to take it.
Don't fucking talk to me about my brother, Loincloth.
Okay, yes. Immediate failure. Things are worse now. He's observing your every motion carefully. A plume of smoke and fire erupts from the gun, and your hand goes numb from the explosion. There is a hole in his cheek. Blood gushes out as he stumbles backward, eyes filled with rage and disbelief, gurgling, muttering something unintelligible. To your right, the killer raises his rifle and takes aim at you. His moves are steady, but the long barrel of the rifle sways slowly. An Easter AR-FA-7, built for taking out light armored vehicles. It will devastate you. From the corner of your eye, you see the lieutenant raise his pistol and aim it at Rude. He's trying to find a straight line of sight before the rifleman can take you out. In the background, the leader staggers. It's not easy. He has 0.6 seconds to do so. He won't make it. You're on your own. You stare down the barrel of the gun. You see Rude's mask behind it, his eyes in the slit of the helmet, like a camera lens, focusing on you. 0.4 seconds remain. There are 6 little black dots in the tip of the barrel, like a honeycomb. This is a knock cannon. It shoots 6 rounds in one pull of the trigger. Absolute destruction. Is there anything we could use to protect this frail body? That gun will tear us to pieces. He's drunk. Drunk fighters overcorrect. Move right, he aims further right. Get him to overshoot. A full suit of armor can't be too agile. You can shift direction faster than he can. You leap left. A swarm of angry lead passes mere millimeters from your side, tearing fabric off your coat. Feels like the lightest of tucks. The man tilts his head, trying to see through the clearing smoke for the next shot. Watch out. To your left, DePaul is about to take a shot too, at Kim.
God, please.
He's aiming for the eye slot in Rude's helmet. An extremely difficult shot. 2 shots ring at once. One from the lieutenant's pistol, and the other from DePaul's. It's aimed at the lieutenant, but it misses. You hear a scream behind you. Glenn, dying in a puddle of blood behind you. His mangled torso has 2 gunshot wounds. Blood gushes out of them like red geysers. You see 2 crazed eyes stare at you through all the smoke and the panic. With blood gushing from his face, the man raises his pistol at you. Then he squeezes the trigger. The look of vengeance, framed in blood, lips shaking. This is the last thing he'll do on Earth. But he will do it. Here it comes. Death. You can't. There is no time. Something inside your pelvis explodes. Your entire lower body is on fire, and your legs can't support you. You fall down like a rag doll. The pain is too immense to scream. It pushes the air out of your lungs. Everything goes dark. A distant blur as you recede into it. Nothing. A persisting darkness. Dancing lights of pain. Distant shadows cast by them. Like a hellish play.
You're bleeding out. Stay with me. Yes, keep talking. You hear me? Stay awake.
But you can't. It's so hard. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the sounds ever more distant, and a cold comes over you. The lieutenant, too, is somewhere far away, almost gone, when suddenly you sense something behind him. A slender white shadow towering. Someone stands there, raising her pistol at him. The lieutenant does not see it. He's pushing down on your wound with both hands. Scream immediately. He's gonna die. No, you say, and hand out your firearm to him. Your hand trembles, and your eyes are full of fear. That's all it takes. There is no room for hesitation. The lieutenant moves like a spring unloaded. He grabs the gun from your bloody hand and fires behind him. You hear a faint scream, a woman's. Then the sound disappears, like someone pressed stop on the tape. The woman is gone. So is Kim. Then the whole world.
This is death. One more door, baby. One more door.
The fight? There is no fight. The fight is over. It was lost 1,000 years ago. You have laid here forever. Keep falling deeper. He's not taking it. His body is not taking it. Oh God, no. He's not disintegrating. He's swelling up instead. Over the hours, hurting, moaning in his sleep. And rotting, and being disinfected, and smelling of drugs, and feeling saliva in his mouth. Drifting in painkillers, thrashing in his boned sleep.
He can't go. Not before the case is solved. There was a radio in the distance. A radio of the world. Playing sounds. Good morning, Elysium. Soon we will return to the world.
Hours turn to days. Soon we will get up again and go through it again. Finally we know what the infernal engine was outside. The clarion call.
The engine of a Caprice Kinema.
No, it was him. He is the infernal engine. Can't you see? He never stops. He only gets worse.
You see the lieutenant's familiar shape in the orange jacket. It turns double, then triple, from the pain.
Sunrise, Parabellum. Mr. Gart cleaned it. It took him an entire day. 2 days, in and out. You've been up enough to take Dramamine and curse, and drink water. Sunrise, Parabellum. Sunrise, prepare for war. It's an old revolutionary saying.
Isn't that written on your...
It served you well. The gates of the harbor are boarded up. The streets are a little more empty. Apocalyptic violence is yet to erupt, I am relieved to say. I think we may have held it off, for now. Barely. Yes, we have also completely failed. But that's okay. What happened? You shot the major in the face. A firefight ensued. Yes. As retaliation, the rifleman tried shooting you. He missed, or you dodged. I shot and wounded him, while Glenn took a bullet in the spine. It was meant for me. He did not survive. Titus, Fat Angus, and Theo charged. Angus and Theo did not make it. They both died before they made it to intensive care. Titus survives. So do Alain and the musician. I forget his name. Yes, he's still alive too. You were bleeding out by then. I think you said something about your wife, and you warned me. I was able to disarm one of them. The pole, before she got a jump on me. I killed her, and that's what happened. This is the one. Four. Glenn, Theo, Shanky, and Angus. The fat one, he... took a lot of bullets. The Pole was the last to die. Everard had their bodies returned to Crenel for a funeral. The company is yet to retaliate. Because we deterred them? Or Joyce did? Maybe the harbor in full lockdown is too costly a target. Or maybe they are simply taking their time and will attack soon. I don't know. All. Yes, officer. 7 people are dead. It's not a success.
+1. Ruby.
But what's done is done. The violence is cordoned off. The Hornets did not get into the beehive. The worst scenario has not materialized. Yet. And we are still alive. Both of us.
He did not expect you both to survive once you stepped between those two armies. His smoking, his hunched back. You have it worse, but he took a real beating. That cigarette has medicinal purposes.
Reasonably bad. You were shot in the left quadriceps. That's your thigh. The outer side, thankfully, no major arteries were nicked. The bullet was removed and a bacterial infection treated with mercurochrome. We will see.
You won't be able to dance much, that's for sure. You should be able to live with limping around, though.
Not very. I have a concussion from that woman beating me with the butt of her gun. I try to not move too much. Things would be worse if you didn't warn me. Thank you. I did not see her coming. Stupid of me. No. I called your station after the fight. The injury was logged in. They told me they've sent officers to join you on the site. I'm sure they are worried about you.
That means he hasn't seen them around while you were out. They're not really worried about you. If they were, wouldn't they be here?
I don't know. I did. No need. Easy now.
Your balance is way off. You feel like you're about to fall over on that thing.
How are you? Your disco days should have been done quite a while back, Lieutenant Efrater. It's not ouch time yet. You just got the Dramamine pill an hour ago. Wait until it wears off.
Dramamine? Then it's not that bad. Neither surgical nor organ damage bad, but still under the counter bad.
I honestly don't know. We can't talk to Everard. The harbor is in lockdown. Everyone in there is outside our grasp now, and Joyce has left too. Yes, she left yesterday morning, to meet the board of Wild Pines, or that is what I've heard. There's a pin somewhere in the machine that keeps Connell from sending in a death squad. Maybe it's her. Maybe she kept her end. Either way, Ruby's gone, and Classio too. We really should have arrested her, you know? I don't know. I think the dangerous theory you presented on Classio, or whatever her name is, was wrong. We have not found a motive or a weapon for her. Honestly, I think our investigation has not produced a single credible suspect. What? Every piece of garbage in the city is not connected to the case. You don't have to keep everything.
He's wrong.
Okay. I don't know. That's been there for years. Yes, God cursed the footprints, not solving the case for us. Au diable. We should go upstairs, rethink the ballistics in situ. I agree with this. What else? We could find thousands more if we wanted. All of Revachol is full of them.
He arches his brow. The ceiling fan patiently spins overhead.
It really is very hard. No. Are you ready to limp? Good. Where do you want to limp to?
The lieutenant did mention doing more ballistics.
Why not? Another look at the window, perhaps? The one he was shot through. I don't know. I can't think of anything better.
The fan stands still. The bathroom mirror has been wiped completely clean. These papers bear the stamp of the RCM. They appear to be fragments of the lieutenant's paperwork, half finished. You make out notes on this and other recent cases.
I had Garth open the door to your room. You were running a low bacterial fever the first night. It would have been easy were it not for my concussion. We both got lucky, considering the odds we faced. Let's go?
Next to the stack of bills, you see a note, a few lines jotted down in large, uneven handwriting. just as the writer was about to rush out the door. I'm sorry, I fucked everyone over. P.S. I didn't kill him. P.P.S. Gift upstairs.
A gift? I am not drawing my gun, yet, but I don't like gifts.
He says he's not, but his hand moves instinctively toward his holster as he studies the note. Relax. Not everyone is out to trap you.
It's hardly surprising.
The medicine cabinet is empty. Not even a toothbrush. Pity.
Mm-hmm. She certainly had her priorities straight when she was packing.
You see the same two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman, only now a red thread bisects the room, pointing from the antenna outside to the cupboard on the wall.
This is ballistics. She's left a trajectory for us.
A ray of backward motion explodes from his mouth to the roof outside, A prime, to then widen into a radius of locations in Martinez, B prime, B double prime, and B triple prime. It suggests the bullet came from the extreme upper quadrant of possible angles, from a point beyond the roof, B triple prime. The island in the bay.
Unless she thinks the perpetrator was standing on the ring antenna. That is where the thread seems to point. I remember. She was there that night. She would have known precisely where the bullet hole was in the glass.
She had a long time to think about it after, standing on that roof, staring at the glass.
It also looks like there may be more to her skill set than we know. The question is, should we trust her? I find that hard to believe, but at this point, what difference does it make? So it is.
For a second he seems tired. The lead is flimsy. You might as well go around Martinez looking under every rock and talking to every person. But what else is there?
Not a lot, no. Of course. I mean... How do we get there? Joyce Messier had a sloop, but she's gone. Ah, yes, of course. The village. Let's go.
Oh, you're up. It's good to see you back on your feet. Did you like your room? I cleaned it for you. You're welcome. I thought it would be nice for you to wake up in a clean place after you, let's be fair, defended this establishment and its clientele from gunfire. I give credit where credit is due, and that, sir, was a nice shot. I was watching until you hit him. Crawled inside then. Bullets started flying. Anyway, I wish you a quick recovery. Also, you and your partner are staying here free now. This establishment supports cops. The stay is free, the drinks are not. Just felt I needed to specify that. Oh, you know, people don't tend to stick around after shootouts. Turns out they're not good for business. I don't remember everyone who comes here, and many people wear sunglasses inside lately. Must be a fad. Yeah, I was, yeah. That's because I'm a badass.
He nods back at you, even more stoically. Just two badass men nodding stoically. Make that three. The lieutenant is nodding too, hands crossed.
No problem. They'll come back. They always do.
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Seeing you approach, the bruised man raises his bear in welcome.
Crazy motherfucker. Didn't think you had that fury in you, but I guess I've misjudged a lot of people lately. That was one hell of a shot. Hell of a shot. The fucks did not expect that. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is, thank you for intervening, fellas. That was mighty brave of you. Now, how can I help you? Theo was old. I think he'd be pretty happy with the way he went. Never could imagine him withering away on a sickbed. But Angus, he was just a stupid kid. Didn't realize the mess he'd gotten into. Trusted me. Still, the balls on that kid. Went down fighting for someone else's shit like a fat, angry bear.
Here it comes. The last one is the worst one. He only deals with it by drinking copious amounts of 8% beer.
And Glenn was my friend. Best I've ever had. I'd love that crazy homo like my own brother. We're all fucked without him. But what do? This job is shit. Dennis, that poor little rat is dead too. I always thought he'd run. But no, he stayed. Stupid, brave fella. Well, yeah. Memento mori, right?
Memento mori, or remember that you must die, is a slogan various religious orders have thrown around since the dawn of mankind to emphasize the vanity of earthly life and the transient nature of all earthly pursuits. In essence, it means one should live virtuously in this life to live better in the afterlife.
Absolutely. Today, I'm going to get drunk, eat good food, and bed a good-looking girl. 'Cause tomorrow, a motor carriage might run me over.
Or you might die of a heart failure, or syphilis.
Hey, fuck you for ruining a beautiful idea.
I guess I'll take a closer look at our union members. There's bound to be some ambitious fellows there who'd love nothing more than advancing social democracy by busting some heads. Might even ask Tibbs if he's tired of replacing windows, and maybe wants to have some fun with his brother. Anyway, don't you worry. As long as Titus Hardy's standing, there will be Hardy Boys.
He's right. The numbers are replaceable. In an organization of thousands of men, there are plenty who'd join.
Don't know? Don't care. I'll be glad if I never see that fucking woman again. Nope.
He did. He nods and takes another sip of whiskey.
Judging by the sight of you, I'd suggest crawling into bed with a bottle of whiskey in one hand and a big tit in the other.
Yeah, go pay Monica a visit in Janrock. She's got a knack for making men forget about their worries. Biggest pair of milkers in all Rebacho.
Hell, you both look like you could use some feminine company right now.
Thank you for your advice, Eugene, and you too, Alain. I do always appreciate a good use of the expression milkers.
You're welcome, Bina Claude. You're all right in my book. Take care, coppers. You two look after yourselves now. Death passed on you today, but men don't get that lucky twice.
Copo Loco. And normal cop, I guess. Good luck in Shamrock. Scars made the best tattoos, they say.
Thanks for getting involved, guys. Not a lot of cops would step into that line of fire, but you did.
And if you ever feel like the uniform is holding you back, I've got a few vacancies. You'd make one hardy boy, copper.
The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Skull. The lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger.
Looks like it, yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday. And blood. Some of it is even yours.
Heavy fuel oil. Isn't that flammable? The fuel oil catches fire immediately with an ominous hiss. A bright orange flash across the surface of the letters. Black smoke rises from the burning message. The lieutenant has taken a small step back. He looks at your face illuminated by the flames and nods silently. Then the fire falters.
Let's go to that island.
Slowly, the flames subside, the fuel burning out. The air still smells of mazout and springtime. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Something is wrong. Only static hisses through the speaker. No reply. Only the mindless drone of static crawling through the air.
It's been this way for a while now. My guess is the Union is listening in on our conversations and jamming outward communications to protect themselves from Crenel. It only happens when someone mentions the attack. The rest is unaffected. Our best bet is to carry on like nothing happened. That is, if we don't want us cut off the grid completely. No more dangerous than stepping between 3 armed mercenaries and 8 Union men, I hope. I don't like it either, but that's the way it is. The street seems safe enough to me. If anything, taking out the mercs made things calmer. For now. You can try calling again. Just don't mention the tribunal. And remember, they are listening in.
Everything sounds okay. No drumbeat of total war yet. If anything, everything sounds too okay. In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? It will take just...
Her voice is...
Gottlieb, what is it now? Ah, it's you. Walking, talking, though. Great. Any other complaints? Mm-hmm.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Does it... Yes. Oh, great. What else do you need, detective? No, not me. No, sorry. I don't. Not a lot of people have phones, or people don't have the money to have the cables put in again.
So the Union has a phone, and there's one phone.
Seems like Lacia wasn't lying when she said it was her. This corroborates her story. She made the call.
Are you sure, Lieutenant? For some reason, you have a little doubt about that.
Yeah, go on. You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly,
Why not?
Let's just say I left because I needed to get away from someone. You know who? Maybe, I don't know. I just know I have to take some time off right now.
You hear the call breaking up on the other end of the radio, and...
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. Over. Ten-4, sir. Well, there's been some talk, sir. I only meant that there's been some talk in the station, that's all. But there's always some talk in the station. You know how officers in Jamrock are. But then again, some of us truly are on the take. It's unfortunate. Over. Roger that, 10-10, over and out.
My man, you're alive. Almost. Kind of. Sort of alive? Man, what a day. I missed out on most of the action, but I heard it was quite the encounter. Had a strong sense of finality to it. So what's next? You guys heading back to Jamrock now? Talk is local union muscle were behind it all. I'd reckon the case is closed. even if it kind of turned into a shit show. Hey, that's just what I heard. Old wives' tale. So, what next? Good luck with that, my man. Ain't easy being you, but hey, you're still breathing, right?
Old monuments. A lorry stuck. The boyadero stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes.
Yet you live. It calls back to an older era where this was commonplace. You have a true boyadero heart. Hiding, gathering themselves. The harbor's in full lockdown, friend. No getting in or out, for the time being. No, man. Not today. Today is war.
He says it matter-of-factly, like it's no big deal.
Time will tell. I'll tell Everard you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. I'll be okay here, doing lookout. Quite the sight, aren't they? Getting to like that red I am. Don't worry about me. I live to alleviate the worries of our brothers. See if any insane killers turn up. Then I'll run. And live. I'm sure I'll be luckier than you, friend.
Is this about the questions again?
Everyone says you started crying in the middle of a firefight and then bled like a pig. I guess that was cool. Cool. That's very cool to Kuno. Just don't think because you got half your dick shot off and you're an invalid now, Kuno's gonna treat you different. Kuno doesn't reward weakness. It's business as usual with Kuno. Kuno's cold like that. Watch out, pig. It's a dangerous world out there. But Kuno's got his eyes on you. Who knows?
I squeal, pig.
Mon Dieu! You set it on fire! What kind of a policeman are you? Oh, of course. I didn't think of it. Good job, officer.
This coin-operated viewer is facing your money. The curtains on the display open. The lenses shift. The ghost, it looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains.
Can you tell? From this distance? I don't think it's possible.
It's not. The details are blurry. There's water vapor in the way and waves cut into the islet.
Between you and me, this is why I don't get involved in local politics. So it goes. Now, what can I do for you?
The trap is full of locusts, but they seem weak and unhealthy.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with? Even I can see that. I told you not to bring your trouble with you, policeman. We've got troubles of our own here. Though I suppose you took the worst of it. Turns out you were your own ill omen. I'm not sure those were the loss of the men with guns either. There are always more coming for your kind, officer.
Then we'll be ready for them.
Man, you're like bleeding now. Reality's really messed you up. Not that I can think of. That might be the case. Yes.
The legend! He's back! Uncle.
There's
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
You're not limping. You're you.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guilhem. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You didn't only get shot.
Well, good for you. Of course. Can I help you with something? That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know. My mother told me.
This must be one of the many fortifications that was used in the dying days of the revolution against coalition forces before they took this city.
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such. The twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go? Would that be alright?
Be my guest. They've a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do. I'm sad to hear that. Take care of that with Ether, will you? Don't get too many RCM men round here. Be sad to lose the first one.
That's cool. You boasting your bacterial infection like that.
Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Aye, aye, Captain.
If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull, I just got it nice and yellow, and no drinking on the boat, and no joyriding either.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye.
The crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.